welcome to the Fruit Snacks Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Wardrop from Drop the Word Life Coaching. I am the T1D Moms Coach. I'm here to help you manage your mental and emotional health while managing your child's diabetes. 2 of my 5 kiddos have been diagnosed, and so I'm very familiar with your struggles, and I don't know where I'd be without these life coaching tools and the gospel of Jesus Christ to get me through the day and night. Thank you for joining me as we journey towards feeling less scared, sad, and stressed, and start feeling more calm, confident, and connected. Let's get started. All right, welcome back to the Fruit Snacks Podcast. Thanks so much for listening. So the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about scared, right? We've talked about anger. We've talked about lots of different emotions. I love doing emotion work, right? Because I'm a life coach, which is a lot of thought work, because we think what we think is how we feel, is how we do, gives us the results, right? So we think that if we change our thoughts, then we can feel different, and then we can do different, and then we can be different, right? But thought work is only a half of the battle, right? Really a third of the battle as far as I kind of look at it right now. So there's thought work, then there's feeling work, right? So we're talking about emotions, which come from our thoughts. So then we're still back in thought land, or we're feeling it. We're actually in our bodies, right? Doing somatic body work, right? Feeling work. Then there's nervous system. Okay. So your nervous system hijacks all of that. And so we've really got to delve into the nervous system, which we've talked about a little bit with the number one hack to just calm your nervous system is the breath, right? And so we've talked about breathing, but I just want to talk about more about the nervous system so that we can learn more about how to actually reprogram our nervous system so that we can reprogram our brain so that we can get the results that we want in our lives. And of course, first step after we have this awareness is acceptance, right? So we're not trying to turn ourselves into robots. We're not trying to feel zen all the time. That's just not going to happen. We are always going to have thoughts. We are always going to have feelings. We're always going to have to do thought work, always going to have to do feeling work, and always going to have to understand that our nervous system is hijacking all of that, right? And so there's no one and done. There's no, oh my goodness, how come I still can't get this figured out? Why am I still a human, right? Because we're still going to be humans forever. But we don't have to ride the roller coaster, right? We can be aware of the roller coaster, and it can be rolling hills, not like huge mountains we have to climb and come back down from. And like we come from way up on the mountain down to scuba diving, and then we got to get back on dry land, right? Like our zone of safety, we really can make it bigger so that the highs and the lows are just rolling hills, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to actually reprogram our nervous system, how to live in safety more often, right? So we're establishing safety. So we will get into that, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, we're not done. If we're claiming to talk about how to reprogram our nervous system, let's talk a little bit more about our nervous system, shall we? First of all, let me tell you, if this stuff is of interest to you, Andrew Huberman, the Huberman Lab podcast, go check that out. And like I mentioned before, my fave coaches, there's Leah Davidson has a podcast, the concussion coach Bethany Lewis has a podcast, brain science stuff, it's the best. Nervous system stuff, oh, it's so good. So you have an automatic, no, that's not what they call it, autonomic nervous system, and it is playing in the background all the time, right? And its whole purpose is to keep you alive, right? So a lot of times we say your brain's whole purpose is to keep you alive. Sort of. Your lower brain, your primal brain, they call it, that is its function. But your brain has evolved over the millennia, right? And now we have an emotional brain, and we have a prefrontal cortex that actually can manage all the rest. So we're not in our autonomic nervous system all the time. So we're not just following any primal instincts anymore. We have evolved to have a higher brain that can override, right? But at our basic function of our brain and nervous system is to keep you alive. Okay. So this is running in the background all the time. And sometimes we can override it with our higher brain. but we've got to understand what's going on behind the scenes, right? So like we talked about, there's the fight or flight. That's the sympathetic nervous system. So fight or flight is very energetic. It's the up there part, right? Like when we were relating it to our Dexcom reads, it's if you're going high, right? So that's fight or flight. But then there's parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest, where you slow down and you calm down. And that's your fawning and freezing and they're both important, right? Because we need energy, we need to get stuff done, we need to be on high alert. We also need to calm down. We need to slow down, calm down, rest, digest. Both are important, right? We need the yin and the yang. Okay. So it's important that we're always scanning for danger, right? We need to check the external and the internal. Relationally, right? Us to the outside world, us to ourselves on the inside world. This is what our amazing bodies and brains and nervous system is doing automatically, right? And so when we say our goal is to kind of live in the zone of safety in the middle, not necessarily. It's not like we want to just live in a Zen state all the time, right? The ups and the downs are all important, right? So the goal is to not to like have no roller coaster whatsoever. It's just kind of not to make it overly high, overly low for long extended periods of time, right? Because if your kid's blood sugar is low for too long, they die. If their blood sugar is too high for too long, too many days, too many weeks, too many, in the long term, they start losing limbs and all the scary things, right? So it's kind of the same with our nervous system. We don't want to wear it out high or be low for too long or too much or too low, right? But it's not that we're not ever going to go up or down or whatever. We just don't need to like hardcore ride the roller coaster, make it worse than it needs to be, right? So healthy amounts of ups and downs is what we're looking for, right? So it's dynamic. It's not static. It changes. It's very cool that we can adjust our zone of safety. We can make it bigger. We can feel safe even while we're up, even while we're down, and train ourselves to know that we're safe. But we don't want to fool ourselves into thinking we're safe all the time. All of these functions of our brain and our nervous system are very useful. And it's not a problem. So again, back to the very beginning, once we have awareness of this, we got to have the acceptance, right? That everything's working how it's supposed to. Sorry, there's a random crumb on my computer that's bugging. Get that off. Okay, so your brain perceives it as a threat, but it's not actually. So we do want to be aware of threats, right? We want to keep our kids safe. We want to keep ourselves safe. And it just is hyper aroused sometimes, hypo aroused sometimes. And we need to be able to use our prefrontal cortex to judge the difference, right? Is this actually a threat or not? Okay, so if we're talking about how to reprogram our nervous systems, how to live in our zone of safety, increase our zone of safety, then we need to talk about the 5 core pillars of health. So again, the Huberman Lab podcast, he's a neuroscientist. He's got, all the details you're looking for if you're interested in this. This is very, very high level, drop the word life coaching style. Okay, hold on. 5 core pillars of health, that when we are healthy in these 5 areas, then our nervous system can calm down, right? But when we are out of whack, then it's out of whack. So the first one, guess is what? Sleep. You know how I keep talking about how your kid's diabetes is keeping you up at night? This is not healthy for you, mama. I know you think that the worry is useful, but I promise, a whacked out mom's nervous system is not going to actually help her child stay safe, right? So as much as you want to stay up at night worrying about their diabetes, you actually need to take care of yourself, and you need sleep. So we've got to it's kind of cyclical. Are you seeing that? Because in order to calm down and get some sleep, then you got to calm your nervous system. But in order to calm your nervous system, you need to get some sleep. So start somewhere, and hopefully we'll get there. Anyway, there's 5 pillars. So if sleep isn't the thing right now, then at least be getting some sunlight. So they say 5 30 minutes in the morning and at dusk. Natural light outside so that your body gets back into the natural rhythm of nature. So that we get back in the rhythm of like, we wake up when the sun comes up and we go to sleep when the sun goes down, which we definitely do not do. I'm here recording before the sun is up and I'm definitely awake after the sun is down. So especially in the winter, short days, we're doing a lot of being awake when the sun is not up. But as much as you can to feel get soak in your vitamin D, do all the things. When your kids are out of whack, they need to be outside, right? Same with us. So sunlight is really important. Okay, how about movement, mama? I'm not saying go crazy with your New Year's resolutions, exercise goals, whatever, but your body needs to move, in our sedentary world where we can do so many things just sitting down. I feel like I'm exhausted. And whenever I sit down, my kids want me to do a million more things. And I'm like, I just sat down. So I know that I'm up doing a bunch of stuff. So my body is moving. But to just keep it on the list of things that are important to keep in mind, make sure that's happening, You don't need to be training for a marathon while you're dealing with your child's diabetes if that's not conducive to the lifestyle right now. But just to keep it, not on the far, far, far back burner, because our bodies need movement to keep all of these systems working healthy, right? And speaking of, we need nutrition, we need hydration. Like I keep pausing to hydrate because I just woke up. Yeah. So our bodies have been fasting all night while we're asleep. We're super dehydrated in the morning. We're so hyper-focused on making sure that our kids are healthy. We have got to pay attention to our health too. This whole podcast is about making sure you're mentally and emotionally being taken care of while you're taking care of your child's diabetes. Well, guess what? Physically is part of that too. So sleep, sunlight, movement, nutrition, hydration, and connection. So connection with yourself, connection with other people, connection with a higher power, all of that. Isn't it fun that even the neuroscientists have proven how important connection is, especially through all the data of COVID. We all felt how important it was to continue to have connection. And the false connection we think we have online is a little bit, but it's not quite the same, especially the oxytocin that's released and all the good vibes you get when you're with someone in person and actually physically touching another person. All of that. It's so fun. That is not just woo anymore. The scientists have proven the physical, emotional, mental benefits of connection. So connect with yourself first. I love and accept myself is the most important start, right? And then connection with other people. And of course, connection with God. I love talking about Jesus on here. I love talking about how he helps us. Talk about, regulating our nervous system, having faith and hope in a higher power, and that there is some sort of purpose to this trial in life. That's what calms me down. The faith, hope is an automatic nervous system recharge, right? So all those 5 core pillars of health is how you actually regulate your nervous system. So if you have any questions about that, if you want to chat, if you want to get some coaching, I'm a Zoom call away. So I'd love to connect with you, right? The connection is so important. It's fun to think that we're connecting by listening to content. It's way more fun to actually connect by talking to a real human being. And I am just a normal, real human being. And I love me some new friends. So let's get chatting on Zoom. You can go to dropthewar.com/appointments to find some place. If my acuity does not have a time that works for you, then just email me and we'll figure something else out, because I am a lot more flexible than that schedule looks like I am. So I'll talk to you on Zoom, and thanks so much for listening. Make sure you give it a 5-star rating and a review so that we can spread the word to more T1D mamas. Let's drop the war on diabetes, people. It's hard enough without making it harder the way we're thinking about it. Speaking of my top 3 brain hacks, go to dropthewar.com/top3 to get my little freebie video for T1D moms. Oh, my outro is going to say that too. All right. See you later. Bye. All right, hold on. I keep thinking I'm done. I'm just going to record a little bit more because the nervous system stuff, this is my favorite. So we're not done yet. Hopefully I edit this and it doesn't really sound like I ended the podcast 3 times. Okay, so let's talk about some actual strategies for what to do in the heat of the moment when your nervous system has hijacked your brain. Okay, so we do a lot of thought work around here because that's what I do as a life coach, is help you figure out what thoughts you're thinking, change those thoughts so that you can feel differently and do differently and get different results in your life, right? So that all gets hijacked by the nervous system. So it's very hard to do thought work, even do feeling work, whatever, when you are in your parasympathetic, your sympathetic nervous system, when you've been hijacked, is just what I call it. Okay. So strategies for establishing safety is what we need to do because we're trying to build our zone of safety, right? So in order to establish safety in your brain and your body and your nervous system in the heat of the moment, you need to remind yourself that you are safe. So this is something I'm working on with my kids because I've had this limiting belief for a long time that I cannot stand the whining, because I cannot stand the whining, like literally. And I've decided it's biological, it's physiological, it's nervous system logical, right? Because as the mom, I'm supposed to freak out when my kids are freaking out because I need to meet their needs, right? Their whining is supposed to bug me because I need to take care of their needs, and they whine when they have a need, right? And they do not have a developed prefrontal cortex that can override the whiny brain and just tell me nicely what they need. No matter how much I bang my head against the wall trying to teach them this, it doesn't work because they are babies and children and toddlers. So I like to say things like, I do not speak Chinese. Like, ask me nicely. Crying and whining is not how you get what you want. And I've said these ridiculous phrases for 10 years to my little babies because I cannot stand the whining, right? I cannot stand the whining. So finally, now that I'm done with the baby phase, but turns out they whine forever and they pitch emotional fits forever. So sadly, I don't get out of this just because they're not babies whining anymore. And now that they can communicate, they will always communicate like a emotionally secure adult when they're still children. So I really do need to keep working on this. So safe, that's where I got on my tangent. So what I remind myself when I'm noticing myself get triggered by their big emotions is to remind myself that I am safe. And I did this with a newborn baby of someone else's the other day. I was at a live event. Shout out to my coach, woohoo, Jody Moore at the Better Than Happy podcast. So I used to go to her events with babies, right? Because I was making babies and I always had one that needed to be nursed. And so they would come with me. And this time, now that I'm done with babies, I heard a baby and I was like, oh, somebody else has a baby at this event. And I followed her to the bathroom because I know what it's like to have a baby at these events and you can't pee because you have a baby. And I used to carry my car seat with me. And so I put the baby in the car seat and try to figure it out. But anyway, so I'm holding her baby in the bathroom for her while she's going. And I was doing great while he was so cute and smiley, and then he starts crying, right? And I go into my automatic pre-mom mode because I was the fun aunt for a long time, for like a decade. And I had this little thing, no crying with Aunt M. So if the baby started crying, that meant it went back to their mom because I'm the fun aunt. I don't have to deal with crying babies, right? So I for sure did not learn how to build my zone of safety when I was a aunt, right? Actually, until it came to the point where my sister was on her 4th baby. So she had 3 little ones and a brand new baby. And she was doing something, probably working on some play or something. And so I went over like regularly and was actually babysitting. Like I couldn't pass off the baby back to his mom when he got fussy, and I had to figure out what to do with the crying baby. Right. And then I prided myself on there's no crying with Aunt M because I can get the crying to stop. See? So no crying with Aunt M took on a whole new meaning. Anyway, all this to say that, do you see my nervous system working there? Like the baby starts crying. I don't know what to do with it. Here, give it back to the mom. The mom can handle this. Or, okay, I got to figure out how to make the crying stop because I can't handle the whining, right? So I've developed this story long before I was even a mom. And now that I don't even have the prefrontal ability to even hold it in, I say everything I think. So thought work is really easy because I don't have to dig out the thoughts from deep, dark recesses. They all come out my mouth. So I say it all the time. And my big kids, oh, it's so sad, you guys. The older kids come and take care of the baby when mom is losing her shiz. because I can't stand the whining. So everybody's like, okay, what's the baby need? I'll take care of the baby. And I'll even tell them that, like, if you want me to do blah, blah, blah for you, then you need to take care of this baby because she needs whatever. And I can't do her while I'm doing you, especially in the morning, first thing in the morning chaos to get the kids out to school. It's like, okay, child, you're 2, you're going to be with me all day. The kids who need to go to school, like, I need to take care of their needs right now. Your needs are back burner, but she does not like being back burner. She is incessant. So whatever she wants, she says it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And even if she says it in a cute voice, not even a whiny voice, it is incessant. So I'm telling you, my nervous system, oh, my poor nervous system, right? So what I'm telling you about these strategies, these are things that I am currently working on. Okay. So, and it's been amazing. Like, literally, this has been like my goal the past couple of weeks, is to, instead of go into my normal model where my thought is I can't stand the whining, I on purpose mantra the thought, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And I remind myself that I am safe, even though my nervous system thinks I'm not, because there's a whining baby. And I'm like, trust me, after 10 years plus, right? We're going on 20 years with nieces and nephews, right? I have a lot of reprogramming to do, because I really believe that story that I can't handle the whining, because I can't. Like, I've got plenty of evidence that I can't. But guess what? I can, and I have, and I do. Somehow I handle the whining, right? I just don't handle it very well. So now I'm going to reprogram myself that I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And I did that with this newborn baby in the bathroom. It was so fun. So the baby's crying. There's nothing I can do about it because I can't feed him. That's what he wants, right? And which also is a misnomer. That's what I thought back when I used to pass it off to the mom. But then Happiest Baby on the Block, by the way, if you have a newborn, I still will always suggest that book. There's a lot of books I would not, but that one, Happiest Baby on the Block, you've got to learn your 5 S's, because everyone thinks that the baby's just hungry and the mom needs to take care of it. No, everyone around you needs to read this book, learn the 5 S's, because there are things that other people besides the mom can do to calm a crying baby. But the baby is crying because it has needs to be met, right? And so if it does need to go to the bathroom or diaper change or whatever, there are those. But then when they're just tired and they can't get themselves to sleep, 5 S's, oh, it's magical. So we need our 5 S's for ourselves, right? Our strategies for calming ourselves and getting us back to regulated, right? And that is what we need to focus on. We do not need to focus on regulating the baby anymore. The baby can regulate itself. Now that it's a little bit older, we need to regulate ourselves. So kids can be dysregulated. That's fine. Our job is to regulate ourselves and then co-regulate with them. Okay. We just want to get them to stop, which is why we go to yelling and freaking out and bribing and all the things, because we can't handle their bad behavior or their meltdowns or whatever. I'm telling you, it starts with us. If we can just regulate ourselves, like, they actually know how to handle their emotions when they're young. It just isn't very socially appropriate, right? So we're trying to teach them how to stuff their emotions and be quote unquote emotionally mature like we are. We're not emotionally mature. We've just learned how to stuff our emotions. And there's a better way, which we are going to learn. And then we are going to model, because they actually know what they're doing with their emotions. They're getting them out. They're not stuffing them down. We talked about this in that anger episode. So let's see. This is turning into a part 3. So, so as we're talking about how to actually regulate our nervous system, establishing safety, here's some strategies. Okay. So in the heat of the moment, there's 3 steps. You know, I'm not big on steps, but you know, I'm just copying what somebody else taught me here, and they like steps. Everyone likes steps except me. Okay. So step 1, am I safe? So right in this second, if you can have access to your actual brain, you can start thinking thoughts like, am I safe? Right in this second. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm like, right this second. Because like I've mentioned, I'm probably sure I've mentioned my PTSD driving in cars, because I've been in a couple car accidents. So my brain literally does not think that I'm safe in the car. So I have to reprogram that and remind myself that, yes, right in this very second, I am alive. Everyone's alive. Everyone's safe. Everything's fine right in this second, right? Because my brain knows better, because if I'm in the car, I'm not safe. But right this second, this millisecond in time, I am safe. Okay. So this is cognitively in your brain, in your logic. You get back to your logical brain and remind your freak out freak out brain that I am safe. Okay. So that's in your brain. Am I actually safe? Logically, yes, I'm safe. But step 2, do I feel safe in my body? No, my body is in fight or flight. My body is in fight or freeze or fun, whatever. I am not in my zone of safety. In my body, I can feel it. I'm hyper, I'm hypo, I'm aroused in some way. I am dysregulated, right? So no, I do not feel safe in my body. Step 3 is you acutely relax. So you cognitively force your body to relax. And then your body sends a message to your brain that you're safe. So if your brain can't send the message to your body that you're safe because you're so hijacked by your nervous system, then you can physically relax your body. The rag doll is what Leah Davidson calls it. I call it, because when I'm in the car, this is what I do when I'm all freaked out in the car. I think my little mantra is, drunk people don't get hurt. And so I get all ragdoll, like you relax every muscle, whatever. That's like a meditation thing too, right? To like relax your body, right? And drunk people don't get hurt in car accidents because they're so relaxed, right? But I'm in there as tense as possible, right? Thinking that that's preventative, but actually relaxed people don't get hurt. So even if there was a car accident, I'm not going to get hurt because I'm so relaxed. So that's a rag doll, right? It's like in Toy Story when the people come in and the toys drop. That's what you do. You like turn into Woody when he becomes, a toy again and not like moving around. So you acutely relax your body on purpose. Just focus on your body. A relaxed body cannot have tension, can't house tension, right? So you're trying to get rid of tension. You can do it from the top down, thinking thoughts that relax you, or you can just focus on relaxing, like find the place in your body that has the tension and relax it, because we have more control over our bodies than we think. So have a bunch of other fun little relaxation tools that my Bethany Lewis is helping me work on. So, but that's enough for today. So those are the 3 steps. Am I safe in my brain? Do I feel safe in my body? And then make myself safe in my body, acutely relax my body. Then I can start getting my brain back online so that I can start thinking things that are actually going to work the top down also. So how's that for a strategy to start with? And then if you're super interested in this, then check out Bethany Lewis, Leah Davidson, Andrew Huberman. Those are my experts that I go to. And I am just feeding it to you through my own lens and my own working on this stuff. So as we work on thought work, we can work on nervous system work, we can work on body work, we can work on whatever you need to work on. I am here for you to support you in your mental, emotional, physical, nervous system, all the things health while you're managing your child's diabetes. So thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if this is helpful at all, tell your other T1D mama friends or any of your friends, especially moms of young kids. That was my jam long before my young kids got diabetes. So baby whispering stuff. Oh, I love it. Especially now that I'm done with my own babies. I love other people's babies so much because I do love babies. I do. I just spent 10 years being hyper aroused by them. So it's nice to have my own. Oh no, I didn't put my shade up while I was recording this time. The sun rose without me. I like to watch it, but wow, it's really cloudy today, so I probably won't see much. Anyway, okay. All that to say, thank you for listening. Let's get on Zoom. You can get a complimentary coaching session. If my coaching package is crazy town prices, then we can call each other besties. And I coach for $25 a session, which is a ridiculous steal. So get you some coaching, mama, because we got to take care of you in order for you to take care of yours. Okay. For the children. That's what I used to say when I, have you listened to any of my old podcasts on here? The Believe You Are a Good Mom podcast. For the children. All moms need to believe that they are a good mom because they are a mom. They have children, and all the children deserve to have a mom that believes that they are a good mom. So if you want to work on that, I'm still jazzed about that for sure. Okay. I'm going to hit stop now. I promise. This is what I say on the Marco Polo app. My friends are like, nope, there's a dot on the bottom with a line. I can see it's not the end. So welcome to the Marco Polo that I published to the whole interweb. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Don't give me a 4-star review because I went babbling on. If I'm not your peep, just move on. to a different podcast. You don't need to rate and review. But if you're into it, go for it so that more of my peeps can find me. Us. Let's build this community. Oh, speaking of, you knew I wasn't done. So last year, I tried to start a T1D mom support group call, and I just did really bad at marketing it, spreading the word, telling people about it, getting people there. It's not much of a support group call when there aren't people on the call. So every now and then a couple of people would join, and that'd be really fun that I got to meet some new friends and do a little bit of coaching and hear your stories and all the things. Mm-hmm. I've cut those fun parts out because I don't have the permission from those people to use them. But when I was sitting there by myself, waiting for people to join the call, I would just teach, So I have all this content that I'm turning into a digital course. So hold your horses because I'm a busy mama, but I am working on it and it should be out soon. So coming soon, digital course from Drop the Word Life Coaching for T1D moms. So it's going to be fun. I'll keep you informed. If you don't get my emails, make sure you go to droptheword.com and sign up for them somewhere. There's probably a pop-up when you go to the website. There's just a pop-up. You can give me your email address or any freebie, like the 3 free video. I'll require your email address to get the freebie video. And so then you're on my email list and you will be the first to know when exciting things happen around here. And follow me on Instagram. Okay, enough blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to regulating our nervous systems. Just take a deep breath, right? Because that's the first step. And then after you've breathed, ask yourself, am I safe? Do I feel safe? And then relax your body until you're convinced you are safe. Because you are safe, you are loved, you are accepted. And now let's get back. Let's get back to dealing with the fires. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey, T1D moms. Was that episode helpful? I put together a free video for you with my top 3 brain hacks for T1D moms. Check it out at droptheword.com/top3. Having a child with diabetes is hard enough. Let's not make it any harder with the way we're thinking about it all. Get my free top 3 brain hacks for T1D moms video at droptheword.com/top3. See you there. Hello, my sweet T1D parent friend. The next time you catch yourself thinking that you can't do this anymore, redirect your brain to Philippians 4:13 and remind yourself that you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. As your life coach, I'm here to be a conduit to help you get your brain and body aligned in order for your spirit to clearly communicate with His Spirit to become your own diabetes parenting expert. Go to droptheword.com/appointments for your complimentary coaching session, and let's do this thing.